All right, everyone's good. Kel's just boiling. Bit of a result. Sunny day, rain stopped. How we doing? Oh, there's a few on. That's good. Starting with tea. Rightio, bring this over here. Football mug. Looking forward to the return of the football season. So for football mug, my son bought me this mug as well a long time ago. Happy days. How's everybody's day? I've got a question. It's not my birthday. It's been my birthday since I've been in lockdown. So I've done tea, I've done biscuits, I'm on to cake questions. My question today is, what year was the first recorded mention of birthday cakes? So when did birthday cards, hi Jem, when was the first birthday cake when did that come across? So first recorded birthday cake, there was more people and now they've all gone. Let's swing a little bit. I don't know. I'll see what that is. So first birthday cake, first year of a birthday cake. I'm hoping Mr. Crofts here. Probably go about 27 BC. Just doing that. So first year birthday cakes were given to somebody. 1920. Wow. Okay. If anybody else has got a guess, we're a bit short on people here. Everybody must be working. Everybody's working. No time for tea today. Come on. What's going on, people? Send an email around, Jem. Let's get them on the. Come on, some more people come back. Maybe dodgy internet connection. We're going to talk about change today because we're all going through change. Clara, 1453, very specific. Just to clarify, it was before I was born, actually. So currently the two guesses are both in the zone, despite what you might be thinking. And so anybody else coming on? What year, first birthday cake? Important, I've had my birthday. Also, it's the ninth week of Tier 3. Ninth week, it's the 9th week of Tier 3. 1845, thank you, Sam. Good. 9th week of Tier 3. I might do a celebration when we get to episode 20. We'll do a celebratory episode. I think that'd be nice. Anybody else want to put a guess in there? Got some more people. First birthday cake. I'll promote it. I've gone back chocolate hobnobs. There's some more coming on now. That's good. First year of the birthday cake. Type your answer in. First year of the birthday cake. First birthday cake that was ever given. That's all right. 1917 says Carl Hutchins. It's very good. Matt Croft, come on. We're waiting for you. I can't start without you. First year of a birthday cake. You've got lots of guesses up there to still resolutely humiliate yourself with. I actually watched an episode back as well. I watched the episode back about how tall was the cake, and I was trying to look for some information on it. And I didn't realise how funny I thought John Harvey's guess was at 500 metres. That kind of made me very happy. So thanks for that, Jen. Anyway, come on, Crofty, what's your guess? First year of the birthday cake. There's no Googling. There's no time for Googling. Crack on. What's your guess? First year. Come on. You've only got to type 4 numbers. It can't take you that long. 4 number, and that's a clue. 4 numbers. I'm going to start. I'm frustrated. Matt hasn't given me an answer. Devastated. 1914. It's almost like somebody got a birthday cake and they went, right, we're going to have a war. Sorry, that's a bit inappropriate, isn't it? But 1914. Right, okay, we're going to do some change. We'll do some change because we're going through change. So it seems very apt that we do change. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how we react to change. I'm going to do something quite trad. And basically, when change comes in, essentially there's kind of 3 ways that people respond to change. The first thing is people just get on and they do it. So the change comes in and they just adapt and do it. Often we're like that when we instigate the change, because a lot of people say, oh, change, a lot of people don't like change. You know what? People do like change. He is definitely Googling, Chloe. I reckon he is. People do like change because otherwise we've got a whole fashion industry out of business. We've got hairdressers completely out of business. Nobody would ever move home. So we like change, but when we're in charge of it. So there's some change that people will just do. Other people will resist, very definitely resist change and push back against it. And then the third thing that sometimes happens is people just kind of duck and hope it doesn't happen. They think if I just keep my head down, the change will kind of pass me by. They're kind of the three core things that can happen in change. What we want to try and create is an environment where people will kind of move with the change. That's the best way to do it. So that's what we're going to have a look at. The first thing I'm going to talk about is something that some of you may be familiar with, which is the change curve. And it's just about the reactions that people have to change. And you might come in at different points, but if we use the current situation that we're in, like COVID at the moment, the first stage of change, and this comes from a lady called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, but the first kind of stage that you have is that denial, where you refuse to believe the change is happening. And I've got to be honest, there's probably quite a few of us who when COVID started kicking off, people were saying, oh, well, it won't be here, it'll be contained in China, or it won't hit this, we're an island, we'll be okay. So lots of denial about it actually happening. I mean, I remember like even days before lockdown in London, I was still just going to work, thinking everything would be fine. Even the week before lockdown, actually, I was working down in our Cornwall office. So very bizarre. So that's the first thing, denial. The second stage is resistance, where people do actively push back against it, refuse to accept it. So the first thing is that denial. Then there's some level of anger, almost anger and resistance about what's happening. Totally missed the question. I'll give it back to you, Matt. The question is, what year was the first birthday cake given? The first year of the birthday cake recorded in like the history books. So there we go. Watch this back because you've got so many mentions. The third stage is exploration. So once we get over that that downside of change, we start thinking, oh, what's going to happen? Is there something good here for me? Is there some good things that can come out of this change? And the last stage is of course accept, and we kind of move into, and I really don't like this phrase, but it's bandied about all the time, which is the new normal. So if we think about it, that denial, the change isn't going to happen. I'm angry. I don't want to be locked up. It's not fair. I can only go out once. At the early stages of COVID, there's sometimes a little bit of apathy, and there's been talk about these highs and lows whilst we've been in lockdown. So I think we do see that ourselves, that apathetic approach where you just kind of get into that routine. Gradually, as a business, we've probably started exploring, but also individually, you start exploring, what can I do differently? What does it allow me to do? Now, perhaps I've got different timings. Now I can work differently at home. Actually, now there's a way I can find this out as well as do this. And then, the acceptance, it's the new normal, which is the phrase there. That's the core model of change that most people go through. And I think one of the most important things, 1066, they had a cake to celebrate. It was Harold's birthday. I think the important thing is to recognise and say, do you know what? It's okay. If this is how I feel, this is perfectly normal. Kubler-Ross's curve is known as the grief curve. It's used in counselling, and it's how people kind of recognise change and loss. That's the greatest change that people will go through in their life, really. So this is probably the biggest change that's hit me in my lifetime, really, professionally. Right, so what can we do? Well, I'll headline it up with what we call the 3 C's of managing change internally. And they're communicate, connect, and care. So firstly, communicate. So communicate with people about the change, how it's making you feel, that kind of thing. So keep your network high. Connect with people in as many ways, and also the change as well. So communicate and connect are intrinsically linked. The fact they're about talking, emailing, WhatsApping, messaging, understanding people. And the last one is about care. So care for others in change. It's very rare you're the only person affected by the change. So think about how other people are going through it. There could be people further ahead. The world's a smaller place. If people recognise that other countries are going through it, you might have a connection in a different country. How are they dealing with the change? What challenges are they facing? So those 3 C's are the first thing. Then when we think about individually, so if we think about work, be curious about the change. So what does it mean for your business? Obviously, Hemsley Fraser's business changed quite quickly, just overnight. So be curious. So are people still going to want learning? Although the business is changing, people still want to carry on learning. We still want to develop. That's what humans do. So the curiosity comes in then about what's going to happen? What's going to happen to how I work? What other things could I be doing? Try not to have just one plan. One plan is always a bit of a danger. So from a business point of view, should be more than one avenue because we don't know how the world's going to pan out. And individually, the same thing. Build yourself a little support system amongst friends, amongst colleagues, amongst people you work with. To talk about feelings. I've spoken about resilience, I've spoken about positivity, and those things are important in change as well, how we feel. And like I said, know your reaction, know where your pressure points land in change, recognize that other people are going through it, and then you've got half a chance coming out the other side. Other little things that we can do. I know I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but look back at a time when you've come through change, maybe job, maybe buying a new property, maybe marriage, any of those situations which feel quite scary. You can even put it on a you maybe you've lost your job, but what's happened? How have you come through that? So look back at the past to think how you responded to change. What emotions did you feel? And you'll see this roller coaster that we go through is quite a natural kind of reaction. If you can involve yourself in the change, so professionally try and involve yourself in the change. If your business is reshaping, think about what you can bring and volunteer to do different things. It'll make the business run smoother, and it'll give you some involvement so you've got a line of sight on it. And that's important. Keep that line of sight on change. So you keep an eye on the big picture, the goal, what's going to happen for you. So whether it's an individual goal or a business goal, keep an eye on the prize. And the other thing that's been bandied about on a couple of these sessions, which I'm going to reinforce here, is just to take a little bit of time out and have a deep breath sometimes. A bit of time out, deep breath, meditate, close your eyes, maybe sometimes do nothing, and just in that respect kind of forget about the change for a moment. Now, I'm going to tell a little story. I used to work in a bank a long time ago, and I may have told the story before, but it's kind of really valid in change. And I used to work in the back office of a trading floor at this point in my career. And we used to reconcile accounts by hand. And it was about $1 billion a day account we used to reconcile. And we used to write out internal debits, internal credits, all of those. And when the money came in or went out, we used to highlight it with different colour highlighters. And if there was a query, we'd investigate it. And then we'd go over it in a different colour. So the colour changed and it wasn't outstanding anymore. It was quite high tech in the 80s. And then one day a system was brought in that was going to auto match these entries. So any internal debit would be matched with an external credit and it'd disappear off the system. And of course, what happened was people said the system would never work. Of course, it seems ridiculous now that people are actually writing out every trade that was done on a sheet of paper. We said the system will never work. What's going to happen to my job? Of course, trading still exists. It still exists now. Reconciliation still exists now. And nobody would be willing to lose their automated system. So you will have had a system, a part of your career where you thought a change was not going to help. What it'll do potentially is give you opportunity to do something else, to have more time, which we tend to all crave. So don't fear change, because change is good. And remember, when you're in control of it, you demand change. That's why we're updating furniture in our properties, changing our kitchen cupboards. All of those things are change. But because we feel we're in control, we're happy to have them. So where you can, get back in control of the change. The big change is COVID, but the change you're in control of is how you work. And that's very much up to you. Now, when was the first birthday cake given? And Matt, you're furthest out, mate. 1066, way out. It was the first recorded birthday cake. It was actually given at 1785. So I believe that Grace Hogan is very close, just a mere 35 years out. So that's not bad. That's when the first recorded birthday cake, 1785. That's excellent. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do next week? Next week, I thought what we do next week, next Tuesday, I thought we'd do a little bit of assertiveness and saying no. I think more and more people are being invited to do more and more work at the moment. And sometimes we need to learn how to say no. So I'm going to push that forward. I'm going to do a bit of saying no and a bit of assertiveness. But for now, I want you to enjoy your tea. I'm going to enjoy my chocolate hobnob. And I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. See you later, guys.